Oh yeah, it's monkey time up in here. Hey, Donkey Kong Country is a game you may just have heard of a teeny tiny bit. Developed in 1994 by Rare and published by Nintendo, this dainty platformer captured hearts and minds with its accessible play, interesting humor, and industry-leading pre-rendered visuals. But has it aged well? Or are we looking at it through nostalgia goggles? I'll dive into it, but before we do that, let's have a bit of a history lesson, because this YouTube channel is literally the only place in my life where I could thoroughly nerd out about this stuff. So, do you remember the console wars between Nintendo and Sega? Nintendo was always top dog in that fight, but there was a time when things were pretty close, and that was right around 1993 when both the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo were approaching the middle of their life cycles. Both consoles had Mortal Kombat, but the Genesis was the only one where you could punch someone's head off. Sega also put out a really slick-looking Aladdin game that used hand-drawn sprites from legit Disney animators. And it was great! Better than the version on the SNES, in fact. Nintendo was feeling the pressure and wanted something to show that they too can have slick, cutting-edge animation, so they enlisted the help of Rare, a UK-based developer. Rare was making waves in the industry after spending an absurd amount of money on top-of-the-line Silicon graphics workstations that were able to render impressive 3D models. Impressive at the time, I mean, it's the early 90s, guys, come on. Rare convinced Nintendo that they could make sprites out of these rendered 3D models, so Nintendo said cool and commissioned them to make a new game out of an existing franchise. That franchise? Donkey Kong. Now these days, Donkey Kong is one of Nintendo's flagship franchises, and that's mainly due to what Rare managed to do with it. But at the time, the last game in the series was Donkey Kong 3 from 10 years prior, and that game was shite, leaving Donkey Kong all but dead. Bit of a fixer-upper of a franchise, to say the least. But Rare said okay nonetheless, and got to work. Well, flash forward to the completed product, which is Donkey Kong Country, and boy did things work out well, because the damn game sold over 9 million copies, making it the third best-selling game on the system, and spawning 2 direct sequels. Many people regard this as one of the best games of all time, and have amazing memories of it. So, now I'm gonna review it, and hopefully not piss all of those people off. Oh boy. Donkey Kong Country. Set on the idyllic Donkey Kong Island, you play as Donkey Kong, but this is not the same Donkey Kong that kidnapped Pauline and chucked barrels at Mario back in the day. No, he's actually the grandson of the original Donkey Kong, who in this game has taken on the moniker Cranky Kong, which I'm sure he's thrilled about. Yes, that old guy with the gramophone is in fact the original Donkey Kong, and I am not exaggerating when I say that around 90% of the jokes in this game are about how old he is. Donkey Kong's buddy and the second playable character in the game is a spider monkey named Diddy Kong. Neither of the two main characters have any dialogue, so we really don't get much of a feel for their personalities other than this slapstick routine right before the end credits. We do get dialogue from the other characters, however, such as the aforementioned Cranky Kong, who just berates you. There's also Funky Kong, who best epitomizes the whole rad dude zeitgeist of the 90s. And then there's Candy Kong, who the developers decided to make look like this. Yeah, I know it must have gotten pretty lonely working those long hours in the Rare offices, but come on guys, we don't want this being our teenage sexual awakening. The story of Donkey Kong gets a full 4-page treatment in the manual, but you don't need to read any of that because this 10-second sequence at the beginning of the game tells you all you need to know. Kong Banana Horde gone! Then you're off to the races, running, jumping, swinging, and barrel blasting through 6 unique worlds that range from lush jungles to dark caves to snow-capped glaciers and more, all in search of that stolen banana horde, cause like, those things don't just grow on friggin' trees, right, you stupid goddamn monkeys? The main enemies of the game are these reptilian entities known as Kremlings, and they unfortunately don't get much explanation. Like, I want to know why they're building factories on Donkey Kong's island, and who their leader is, and why they need all those bananas. Potassium? Who knows? Tying in with the story is the game's overall sense of humor, which I gotta say is sort of lacking. I already mentioned that Cranky Kong is old makes up the bulk of the jokes, but like, what the hell is he even talking about here? And what's up with these fake credits at the end? Can we make the next K-word context? Jeez, let's look at the gameplay. So you've all played platformers before, and this one more or less adheres to the start on the left, run to the right model. You can jump on enemies as well as roll into them or hit them with barrels that you can pick up. Health is handled in a clever way, with DK and Diddy each serving as a unit of health in a way. When you have both Kongs active and you take a hit, you lose the one you were playing as and resume playing as the other. You can get the lost Kong back again by finding one of these DK barrels, but if you're running solo and take another hit, you lose a life. extra lives can be earned by collecting 100 bananas or an extra life balloon or all 4 letters in the word Kong. So far pretty standard stuff, right? The two boys aren't exactly the same in that DK is a heavier hitter, while Diddy is quicker and can jump higher. You may switch between the two if you feel a certain spot would be easier with one or the other, but there's never a point where you absolutely need a specific Kong to get through to the end of the level. However, it still behooves you to learn little tricks like this roll jump here. We also have animal friends that you can ride, and these guys add a little feistiness to the gameplay. First, there's Rambi, your juggernaut rhino who can tear through enemies and open up secrets. There's also Espresso the ostrich who can glide through the air, just like real ostriches. Next is Ungard the swordfish, also known as better controls for the swimming levels. He does a nifty poke with his nose. Finally, there's Winky the frog, whose jump can take out bees and reach high places. He's got a frog suit on land feeling about his movement though, which I don't like. There's also this parrot who holds up a lamp, but we'll ignore him. When you get hit while riding an animal buddy, they take off running. While you can technically chase them down and hop back on, it's just chaos, and you often lose a life in the process. So sometimes it's better to just let them go. Okay, so I know your mind may not be totally blown so far, and you may be wondering why this game has such a legendary status. Bear with me here. Personally, I feel the level variety and design are what makes the gameplay stand out the most. It's clear that Rare took painstaking measures to ensure each level was unique. Like, of course you have your jungle canopy, hanging vine, swinging, hopping stages, but then we start introducing these barrels that blast you around. Next thing you know, you're swimming, and then you're in a dark mine with minimal light, and then there's the minecart stages, which are an absolute riot and walk the perfect line between challenging and fun. Here we have to keep this moving platform powered up by grabbing oil cans, which can get perilous real fast. Each level is stimulating and challenging, and you will not get bored. There are also plenty of secrets hidden throughout each level, which can get you bananas, lives, bonus stages, shortcuts, and these animal tokens that let you play these super bonus stages when you collect 3. The enemies are decent and have different attributes that make them easy or difficult depending on the situation they're in, like these octopi that chase you down narrow paths, or these orangutans that ironically throw barrels at you.
How do you like that shit?
The bestiary is well done, but compared to a game like Super Mario World, it's a bit light. The bosses aren't too varied either, with there really only being 4 varieties if you take out the palette swaps, and even those ones are mostly just bigger versions of enemies that already exist. So while I'm already whinging, I might as well get into some of the gameplay elements I'm not a fan of. First of all, I don't feel this is the tightest platformer out there. It can be hard to tell exactly what part of your character sprite is making contact with the ground during a running animation. For example, look at the Mario sprite running in Super Mario World. Regardless of the frame of animation it's on, you know that this area is where you're touching the ground, and you can align yourself accordingly with the edges and such. With DK here, for example, his animation is such that it's hard to really know where he's making contact. Couple that with some of these pre-rendered environments with vague edges, and it can be hard to know if you're jumping too early or too late. This contact hitbox also gets a little weird with enemies from time to time. Like, how the hell did I land on that bee there? I came at it from below. Alright, let's try it again. Nope, didn't work that time. This isn't catastrophic, but I feel it's hard to fully, truly get comfortable with the movement of the main guys because of these ambiguities. Furthermore, while the level design is fantastic, there are a few moments where things fly at you from off screen that you would have no chance in hell of avoiding. Maybe I'm just mad about the cheap deaths they cause, but I suppose that's always a risk you run with games that have larger than average sprite sizes. Overall, the gameplay is fun and creative, but maybe not rock solid. Now, let's talk about those amazing pre-rendered graphics that were more or less the entire reason this game got made. Do they hold up? They kind of don't, in my opinion. Yes, I know that we're looking at 3D rendering in the 90s, a time when everything looked like a Brooklyn Bounce music video. But I feel like the resolution and limited color palette of the SNES really couldn't make those 3D images look as intended. Like, have a look at the map here and tell me it doesn't look like a PC game being played on its lowest settings. Also, yes, I know at the time these graphics were super cool and all. I mean, they went ahead and did the same thing for games like Super Mario RPG and even Chrono Trigger, but like, it looks weird in those games too. Sorry. Whoa, hey, alright, calm down. Look, I also think that they might have looked better on an old CRT TV when the natural blurriness produced more of a gradation, as opposed to pixel perfect TVs that make everything look clear as a bell, for better or for worse. But I don't want to slag on the visuals too much because no doubt the developers worked their asses off putting together some adorable designs for the characters. Like, oh, look at the parrot. That's just oh, it's a little beaver. Okay. Oh, not that one. Oh God, Jesus. Whew. Rare really should have arranged some conjugal visits or something during that development cycle. But aside from that one, the enemies are cute, and hey, the game moves amazingly smooth, which is actually the biggest miracle ever, given the complexity that went into every single character. So it's a mixed bag for the graphics, mainly due to the fact that we have been spoiled with much better ever since. So that's really our fault, isn't it? No, not really. Moving on to music, I'm gonna jump the gun and say this game is getting perfect marks, unquestionably, without a doubt. Holy crap, we're not talking throwing together some fun melodies here. This soundtrack is on a whole new level that incorporates ambient noises, layered samples, pitch bends, negative space, and possibly a little bit of black magic given the limitations of the console. For comparison, Balls 3D came out at around the same time and had a soundtrack like this. Donkey Kong Country, meanwhile, was putting shit like this out there. Yeah, that's right. We were so focused on the graphics when this game was released that the soundtrack came in like a left hook out of nowhere. The minecart levels are a highlight in this game, and we all remember the music really ratcheting up the tension and excitement to almost cinematic levels. Listen. And there's no way I'm not going to mention Aquatic Ambience, which is the water level music. It's so damn good, it has its own Wikipedia page, as well as shoutouts from artists like Trent Reznor and Childish Gambino. Listen. Seriously, I cannot encapsulate its slow burn greatness in my goofy rapid fire videos, so go check it out for yourself. Sound effects? Yeah, they're great too, but honestly the music is, in my opinion, one of the best things about this game. This video is getting long in the tooth, so let's talk about value, wrap this thing up and go home. What do you say? At the moment, there are a bunch of different ways to play this game, including Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, the SNES Classic, Switch Online, and the Virtual Consoles if you manage to grab it before they shut down. But the original cart is cheap and abundant, and if you have an SNES, you have to have this game. Shit, I would wager that any SNES console you see for sale on Facebook Marketplace probably comes with Donkey Kong Country, so yeah, go pick it up, it was just that popular. And there is a 2-player mode that goes a step further than Mario 2-player modes, and actually allows you to swap with your buddy at any time so they can take the wheel. Plus the game is a challenge. You will die a lot, especially in this god-awful level right here. But you will eventually beat the game, and it will be worth your time and money. I've gone back and played this game numerous times as well, so there's definite replay value. So let's cap things off with a final score of 8.5 out of 10. Hindsight has lessened the wow factor over these years, but Donkey Kong Country still remains a standout showpiece title for the SNES, thanks to dependable platforming, unique graphics, and amazing music. Have fun. Alright, that's good, that. What? Hold on a minute. Stop. You know what you want to do with that, right? You put the Donkey Kong. Oh yeah, that's good. We bring the funk like Funky Kong. Oh, that's sick, that. This beat is hot like Candy Kong. I'm sure about that one. Voltron Games, bigger. Let's put the Donkey. Hold tight, I'ma rock the mic. I'm a big bad ape with an appetite. Got a big necktie and I'm living life one day at a time. No lie, when I wake up in the jungle, hungry, stomachs on rumble. At the front door I tumble. Look at the banana horde and scream, oh shit! Slash got nips. Now right my disc, gotta deal with this. Gotta smash heads in the wilderness. And I'm up in the treetops, smashing the beats up, getting yelled at by a geezer. On the back of a fish and an ostrich in a factory and a pirate ship. I send reptiles to the next light. Hey, so long! And put the Donkey Kong.